He had born. Yeah, I started to cry myself. It recalled my father when he died. Yeah. I've in my short or long life, dependent if you're younger or older than me. If you're younger, you'll think I'm old. If you're older than me, you'll think I'm young. I'm actually middle-aged. Sort of. Depends if you see the end of life as 80 or 100. Or middle-aged for the 80. So I've seen a few deaths now, like most people my age, a few close people's death. I grew up with my gran, and I watched her die. And my friend, they're the two that I was really close to. My friend died when I lived in Australia, my next door neighbour. And those two I was really close to and very much involved in their care while they were dying. And I have to say, like I say this, and I've also had lots of dogs die. That's most probably slightly different. Sounds amazing. It's kombucha, but it's super fizzy kombucha. It's French style kombucha. So what I was saying about death is, I have to say, from my experience, when my dogs have died, their death wasn't so bad because we put them down at a point. So we gave them euthanasia at a point. So one of my dogs had kidney failure, I think, or so I can't remember which one it was, maybe liver. And so she began to express a lot of pain and we had her put down. Another one with the cancer, we had her put down. Actually, they're the two dogs that I've had put down. I've had other dogs, but I didn't do that. And then my friend and my gran. And with the humans, because we don't have the euthanasia in the countries that I was in some countries they do. I don't know if they call it euthanasia. But then it tends to be towards the end sometimes a little not so pleasant to watch. But a lot of the time with my gran and with my friend, they were unconscious of it. Or there was no consciousness. But I think the most horrifying thing for the person to watch and think, which I had for my gran but I didn't have for my friend, is the idea that they're dying alone, that they're being kicked out of life, and that's your own projection onto the situation, that they're alone and they're being kicked out of life. Actually, what's happening in death is they're actually being re-embraced by themselves, so that the limited self is going back into the unlimited mystery, which is love. So even though from the mind perspective it's imagining that person's being abandoned, and even if you're seeing them in a lot of pain, they're actually going back into this infinite love that's all that's ever wanted. Like no one's ever being abandoned. It's actually the end of the sufferings of this world, of this apparent dualistic world. So on that regard, it's not like the human imagines it. I think that's the worst part of death. The physical pain stuff is hard to watch, people being in lots of physical pain. But I think the hardest part from the human perspective is imagining that they're being lost somewhere, that they're being abandoned. And that's not true. They're going home if they're still separate. We have this negative look on death in our society because we can't imagine what it is. So we imagine it as this being kicked out of life, but you're actually being re-embraced into the infinite. And it's not this negative thing, that's something society's taught you. And that's actually, we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, the unconscious, like the shadow side, and that our society, because our society refuses to acknowledge death and deal with death, what it does is it goes into our subconscious, so we repress it and it haunts us. This shadow, we're not conscious of it, but it haunts us, that we've got this bad place that we're going to, that death is this bad place that contains abandonment and loss. And it's not like that at all. It is the loss of the physical form, but you're never lost. I don't know if that makes sense. And if there is anyone out there that is going through the death of someone, there was a beautiful book that I read that talks to you about what death is, and maybe everyone should read it. I have to go and get it off my iPhone. The name. So the book is called, I can't bring my phone to the microphone, otherwise it ticks, but the book is called With the End in Mind. With the End in Mind. And the good thing about this book is it talks about death. So the lady is a palliative care doctor, and she's a palliative care doctor. It's a true story. It's like a memoir. She's a palliative care doctor for 40 years, and basically what she does is she just recalls stories of being a palliative care nurse. And it just gives you an insight into this big world that we push away. And she just talks about many stories of people dying and what that process is like. And then it's not just this unknown, hidden process. It's something where you begin to learn the signs and you begin to understand it better. So I'd recommend it to anyone, this book. It's called With the End in Mind. I can't remember the lady's name. I just had to focus on one when I went to look at my phone, either her name or the name of the book. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, I think that's a lot for today.